Hello, happy hump day to lockdown 3.0, all you lockdown fans out there. I know, sorry, I'm a little bit sarcastic because, you know, it's a bit tough on everyone. So I hope a little bit of humor is not too wrong here. So we have decided to do a little bit of lockdown entertaining for you. So every day this week we have a virtual cooking class for you. Today we have called it Love, Peace and Joy. And we want to sweeten the deal a little bit for you because we have only sweet dishes prepared for you to show. Even myself, and for those who know me, I'm the non-sugar person. I go out of my comfort zone, and today I'm going to make the honeycomb. So give me a little bit more time to do that. And yeah, so I hope you find this entertaining. And we're going to kick off this session straight away with our so talented Melissa Miller, who will show us once more, or let us into her secrets about sponge cakes. And she's going to make a sponge roll that is originally, or the one that we're referring to, well, she'll tell more about that, is from the Italian platform. So there's another hurdle and another challenge there for you, but obviously we want to show you how you could do also international recipes, and do not despair. They are easier than you think they will be. So I cannot do this alone. So my team, I'll introduce them as we go. We do have a helper as always in the background. And today this is Monty, who is helping us to manage the technical side of things. So she will have an eye on the chat. So if you do have any questions, please at any time pop them in the chat box, and Monse or any other of us, our team members, will read them out for us, and we'll be happy to answer your questions there. So let's be interactive, please, not just us. And she'll also spotlight our video. So hope for the best. We're gonna master this class again. All right, no further ado, let's hand over the spotlight to Melissa.
Afternoon, everybody. Welcome to my kitchen. I am making something for you today that I've made a couple of times, something that I was a bit frightened of at first, and I made it once and I thought, well, this is pretty easy. No need to be frightened anymore. So it's a Swiss roll in effect. The recipe is actually, as Janny said, it's an Italian one I found on the Swiss platform, funnily enough, but it's got a lemon cheese in the middle with gelatin and stuff like that. I'm making a plain old, normal old berries and cream with some homemade berry jam that I made last week, just because that's what my kids prefer, and given that they're going to be the ones eating it. So when you are searching for recipes on the international platform, obviously remember to take your Australia filter off. I'm going to get this going because this has got to whip for 3 minutes. So this is egg whites and a pinch of salt and some sugar to make, we are making a sponge roll. Obviously we're doing the, what's it called? Sugar, the egg white mix. So pop that in there as well. That can go on while I'm chatting away. Now, everything in here on the screen, you probably won't be able to see it, but it's in Italian. But what I have done for recipes like this, I just go and jot down what ingredient each step is referring to. So that's my tip for how you can work with international recipes. Otherwise, you can have your iPad on the bench with you. But if you're doing something like this using guided cooking, I've just write down each step and what each ingredient is referring to, because the numbers, the time, the temperature, the position of putting the lid on, putting the MC on, everything is still the same. The images are still the same. Everything's like that. So no, I'm not even going to have a go at pronouncing that, but I know it's got to go to speed 4. So I'm going to let that go in the background for a minute, because that's got to go for 3 minutes. And I'm going to put that on upside down, just while it's noisy, because that will get going and it'll be beautiful. Yeah, so when you're looking at international recipes on your desktop, you can if you're using Google Chrome as your browser, that's got an automatic translate function. So that makes looking at international recipes easy, because as you look at them, it'll just translate it to English. So if you do go and have a look, which is great, you literally have the world of recipes there at your fingertips. So have a look for something a little bit different from some of the other countries. So the other thing that I've done is a vinegar wash in my bowl. You don't have to for this because obviously we're adding other things to it. So the egg white doesn't have to support everything like it would in a meringue, but I don't want to take any chances. I always do this when I'm doing any dish that has got that I'm whipping egg whites first. So the vinegar wash is about 3/4 of the bowl full of water, about 30 grams of white vinegar, butterfly in, and 10 minutes of aroma speed 4. And then at the end of that time, I pour the water out over the spatula that I'm using so that everything scrupulously clean, no speck of oil anywhere, which is going to affect how well the egg whites fluff up for starters, but also hold their shape. It's very important in meringues, not so much with here, but like I said, I'm not taking any chances. So that's the one thing. We've got a minute to go. I've also got my lined tray here. Ordinarily, I would just stick some glad bake in it, but I've actually greased the bottom of it first and then put my glad bake over the top because this is quite a light mixture and I want it to sit really flat and keep it a nice rectangular shape in the tray. So that's the other thing that I do is grease the bottom of that as well. And the other thing we need to do, and I haven't done yet, I've got a clean tea towel, and I'll do this in a second. And what we're doing is a light dusting of caster sugar over the tea towel. So when the cake comes out, upend it on here and roll it up in the tea towel, and it stops it sticking, and you roll it up immediately when it comes out of the oven. But we'll get to that step. But that's all I've got going over here in terms of preparation. So as soon as we've done this, which is 28 seconds to go, any questions? Gosh, it's so disconcerting. Chat. I'm getting nothing back the other way. So please talk to me. So I know somebody's there listening.
We don't have any questions in the chat yet. I was just mentioning in the chat box, and I'm reading out for everyone, that, yeah, great tip to have Google Chrome in a device either next to your Thermomix, so it translates already the ingredients. Another way of doing it, you can download the Google Translate app on your phone and use the camera. And then you can just hover the camera on top of the screen.
Yep. So there we go. There's our egg white for anyone that tells you that you cannot make pavlova and things like that in your Thermomix. So I'm just going to take this out, put it in another bowl. Don't need the butterfly anymore. So I'll take that out as well. And we're just going to go straight in. It's actually really quick and easy. Don't need that anymore to make this sponge, which is why I like it. I chose it, and it's one of these things you look at it made and you think, oh gosh, I could never make that. That just looks way too hard. But it's really not. Like anything, I mean, I've got everything all weighed out here and measured, ready to plop in. I'm not even going to be too fussy about how much is in the bowl because we're going straight in.
So it's basically stiff egg white.
Basically stiff egg white is telling me to preheat my oven to 200. So I'll do that now because I'm a good girl and do as I'm told. And I think I took my butterfly out prematurely. I've separated my egg whites and my egg yolks. So now we've got the egg yolks. This is what I love about working in my kitchen is I can just quickly grab a spatula rather than
I love that.
I haven't got. It's nice. Whoops. Flinging egg yolk everywhere and some more sugar.
I love about working from home and we're making, well, dessert today.
Exactly. We actually did a cooking class yesterday and made profiteroles. So my kids had profiteroles for dessert last night. That's really noisy. And this is the beauty of guided cooking, I guess, is that I'm actually not even concentrating too much about what I'm doing here. I'm just more about being nervous for on camera. But throwing everything in, as it tells me to go to speed 4, I go to speed 4. So it's nice and easy like that. What else can I tell you about this recipe? So the lemon one is really nice. It's a nice design, that one. Egg whites and sugar and a pinch of salt. I think that they will put the link to the recipe in
Yes.
in the chat box as well.
Yes, we have the link
Yeah.
in the chat box, and well, the links or the recipe will be in Italian, so you have the challenge here to translate it or use Google Chrome.
To make the actual sponge part, there's 5 steps, and 1 step's preheat the oven. So it's not an overly complicated recipe to make because there's not a lot of steps that you need to, and there's only, I think, 6 ingredients, so it's pretty simple to make. So I have made this as it is. Like I said, the sponge part of the roll is just a vanilla sponge, so that's really nice and easy, and it's the lemon in the recipe's title that's in the filling. So I've also made a chocolate version of this where I've just kept off maybe, I don't know, 30 grams of flour out and just added 30 grams of cocoa instead, and you can just make a chocolate one. It's actually a really nice sponge. It's nice and light, and it's very pliable too, which is good, given that you've got to roll it up.
All right. Yeah.
All right.
So we have a little bit difficulties with the sound sometimes because you need to talk over your machine.
It's got 10 seconds to go.
That's
it's
fine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, looks amazing in there. Bear with me, down to 1 second. There we go. Thank you very much. Let me just show you what we've got in there. That's the only problem. So there's our whipped egg yolk and sugar, which is nice and glossy and pale. And now we're just going to add back in. It says something that I translate to put your egg whites back in again, which is what I'm going to do. And then add a bit of flour, and then that's it. Give it a bit of a scrape down as well. I've got stuff everywhere.
Are you going to mix it in the bowl with the Thermomix or by hand?
Yep. No, I know that, and I'm actually going to just sprinkle it over the top. So when I make a proper sponge, you would do that by hand because it's a very slow process, and you want to do it slowly and gradually. There we go. Lid on again. This is just the final 30 seconds. What did it tell me to go to? I don't know. Oh, there we go. Sorry. Yeah, so if you're doing a sponge, you would actually put this all in a great big bowl, sprinkle the flour over it, and just gradually fold it in. But for whatever reason, this one works, and I've made it plenty of times. Oh my God, I hope I haven't put the muzzle on myself now, and it's not going to work. But it's just gradually incorporating, and it's only 80 grams of flour, 6 eggs, which is separated into yolks and whites, 140 grams of sugar, and a pinch of salt. So there's not a lot to it. And we're done.
I always fear when it says fold in the egg whites. I always have the fear that I'm overdoing it.
Yes. And it's always better to be safe and slow than go at it like a bull at a gate. But this one, and this is the mixture, and it's all incorporated. And I'm just going to pour it into the tin, and that's it. So I'm going to get rid of that butterfly.
Melissa, I have a question myself.
Yes, Mons. Yes, Mons.
Do you think that you can make this gluten-free? Can you swap the flour?
I don't see why you can't, because it's only 80 grams of flour. So I would think it would be, and there's plenty on that butterfly that I can just have a bit of a play around with when nobody's watching. Yes, Mons, I don't see why you can't, because it's only 80 grams. So you could probably just do a direct swap. Sorry, can we all see that there?
Yep, and then it can be a
hold me to it, of course,
sponge.
But I don't see why it wouldn't work. I would probably do a bit of Googling on gluten-free sponges just to see what other recipes have done as the substitute, which is what I do a lot of times when I'm making something for the first time and I want to play around with an ingredient. Not that I do it very often, but with gluten-free stuff, you do have to be a little bit careful. So I would do a bit of research first. And just see what other recipes they might add a bit of baking powder or something like that, just to make sure it properly aerates. But there we go. And now that is going to cook for a total of 12 minutes. We're done. So we can go off to Elizabeth now, and I'll see you in a little while.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. Okay, so there's a lot of insights already for the bakers or the non-bakers. I think we are heading over to the next kitchen, which will be, the gorgeous Elizabeth. Welcome back. What are you going to show us today?
Well, a big hello and welcome to everybody. As Janny said, you're now in Blairgowrie, so this will probably be the longest distance you'll travel today. Today, I'm showing you spiced peach and mango chutney. Yes, it is sweet. It is delicious and it is versatile. You can put it on chicken, you can put it on beef, you can put it on lamb, you can put it on fish, and for all you vegetarians out there, throw a bucket on that tofu and it will make that tofu bang. The choices you have in this recipe is that you can use frozen, you can use tinned, or you can use fresh. I actually prefer fresh. I'm guessing that you probably do too. It is the season now for mangoes and for peaches. They're very, very generously priced. So I think it's worth a little bit of extra effort to steam the peaches and peel them and cut up your own fruit. Choice is tin, frozen, fresh. I've gone for fresh, seasonal. But what I've done today is I've steamed the peaches in the Varoma earlier because that's 10 minutes of steaming time, waiting for them to cool, then peeling them. And I kind of figured we could jump that in the goodness of time because we don't want to be here until midnight. The other thing is that
part of the recipe, so it's a step. It's steps. We're just skipping through these steps.
Yeah, I'm skipping that step.
Okay.
The other thing too is you may ask, white peaches or yellow? Doesn't matter. You can use both. And I've been a bit of a renegade. I've got both in here today. The other thing is that with the peaches and steaming them, I found that the process of doing that was actually quite cathartic. So it was like a little meditation while I took the skins off, and it was very, very pleasing, and then breaking them up with my hands. So we're going to get started at this point, and I'm going to tear my my scale, and the first thing I'm going to be putting in is some fresh ginger. Now, this is a very flexible recipe. It's just had above what they've requested, but the recipe can take that. The next beautiful thing we're putting in is Szechuan pepper. So it asks for a teaspoon of that, which I happen to have on hand. Always smells delicious. And the next thing is the dried chili. This is what gives it a bit of a bang when you're eating it. And I've made this a lot, and it's one of my personal favorites. Also, it makes a great present. If you're going to somewhere in the days when we can go and visit people, you're invited for dinner. I'm finding people don't want things, they want consumables. So something you've made in your kitchen is going to have a lot more cachet, I think, than something bought at the $2 shop. Right, dried chili flakes. Now we're going to give them a bit of a chop. And it's going to be 15 seconds at speed 8. Now I'm hoping that this has blocked out the noise of that, not the noise of me. So what I find wonderful about so many of our recipes, we're starting with the basics of the goods, like the whole peppercorn, or in the spices, the whole spice, and it is a lot more powerful when you're grinding it in your own machine.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Right, I'm going to show you this. For those who don't have a Thermomix, this is the wow factor. If you saw what went in, what is there now, it is just mind-blowing. So, the fresh ginger. Oh, delicious. Sorry, I got a little bit carried away with this. It's a pity you can't be here.
I smell that.
Beautiful fragrances. So I've scraped down the sides of the bowl, and star anise. Oh, another great one. Nope, that's not the star anise. Let's try another packet. Here we go. So it says 2 of those. I'm going for the big ones, or maybe even 3. Here we go. And a cinnamon quill. Oh, what have I done with those? Here we go. Choosing a big one of those too. And next. 100 grams of fresh mango. I have pre-weighed this because we don't need to do it for you. Get it done in advance. And 200 grams of raw sugar. In she goes. And next, ground ginger. Teaspoon of that. You can see I do these things often, so I've got all my little containers marked so I can find them quickly and easily.
A few days ago.
And the pinch. There we go. Ooh, that was a bit messy. Give me 1 second. I did boil my hands in Milton's before we started. So when I use my hands, I have sanitized them. There we go. Now, insert. Now, this is going to be 20 minutes of cooking. And just a little hint. If you haven't prepared anything for dinner and your family are going to be coming in shortly, throw all this in. The aroma from this is so delicious. Oh, what's for dinner tonight? It smells lovely. And you don't have to really do that much. So, Janny, when this process is done, there is another little process where I'm adding another ingredient. Will we be able to fit that one in before presentation?
I'm pretty sure we will.
Okay, then. So, the cooking part's not the exciting part. So, on to the next presenter, and I'll see you soon.
That's all right. Well, we're quickly coming back to me because, yeah, I'm not quite sure whether Melissa's sponge is already done. So she'll give me a thumbs up. It's probably still in
I've got 4 minutes and 40 seconds to go.
4 minutes, 40 seconds. All right, let me quickly use that time to give you a little bit of commercial break. So probably for those of you who have TM31s or TM5s, obviously you can see we're just using the TM6 in our presentations anymore. And although some of us still have the former models, we absolutely love this new machine. And I'm probably going to show you a couple of things more later, or you'll see later down the track what we can do with the TM6. And for example, one major difference is the high heat function, and that's what I'm going to do with the honeycomb. You can see I'm rather excited about the honeycomb and that function there. So whenever you see something happening today and you think, oh, I would love to upgrade to a TM6. So let me quickly share with you what's on offer in the month of February for you. So by now you probably have found out that we do have different offers every month. So price for the Thermomix is $2269. That will never change, but we will have additional items on offer for you. Sometimes they're free gifts with your Thermomix purchase. And in the month of February, this is our highly sought and very popular 2.6 litre thermoserver that keeps your food hot or cold for up to 2 hours. And the favorite or everyday cooking for Thermomix family, one of our favorite books. And this offer is just because we are celebrating 20 years Thermomix in Australia this month. Whoop, whoop. So these two gifts will be free for you together with your TM6 purchase. Obviously, always on offer is the different host rewards that we have, and that's where you can select more of the thermoservers in different sizes and forms, the mini ones and the oval ones, because one can never have enough thermoservers once you get used to that. Also the baking mats, not sure if we're going to see it today. I'm not going to be using mine today. And in the month of February, there's also the Meter Plus on offer. So if you want to hear more about that and how you can become eligible, maybe some of you are hosting this session here today, then please have a chat to your consultant who has invited you here today, and they will work it out for you. Okay, what else do we have on offer? Melissa's still not giving me the thumbs up. No, this is a 2 minute. Great. Yeah, so I was quickly mentioning it earlier. So working from home is my my trigger here, what I wanted to share with you. So you can see what we're doing here. And don't worry, our team is bigger, and but we not all of us are comfortable in standing in front of a camera and doing this here for you. But basically, what we're doing is working from home in our own kitchens. We are cooking, we are baking, we are creating, and we're sharing what we're doing with you. So this is work, okay? But you can probably see it's also a lot of fun. And I can only invite you, if you would love to be part of this, if you want to join our team, working with all these beautiful consultants that you see today, and me, then reach out to your consultant and they will happily let you know when we do have our next info sessions. We do have usually 2 info sessions per week. And yeah, just let us know if you want to hear more about it. If you, just see what's involved. So no obligations whatsoever, really. Just hear us out, because if you're contemplating on upgrading or getting your first Thermomix, which will be a TM6 then, there is a chance that you can also earn it instead of buying it. All right. And that's what we would love to explain to you a little bit more further in detail. Right, so do we have any questions? I can't see anything really in the chat box coming. I hope some people are here. That's all right. House robots, okay. We talked about that. Melissa, still checking on the sponge. Well, there's still 2 minutes. Okay.
Janny, Chris shared a very good tip about the chutney. She said that she uses honey instead of sugar, and after she finishes, it looks a bit runny, but after you put it in a jar and leave it for a while, it thickens. So yeah, it's another alternative of sugar to use honey instead.
Okay, well, that's a great tip right there.
Yeah, I thought so too.
Yeah, because I'm not, as you know, not really a big fan of the white stuff, the white poison. So honey, definitely a good alternative there. All right, so I think we should not wait a little bit longer. What we could do is start with the next presenter, which is Megan. Oh no, now she gets it out of the oven. Yes. No, sorry, Megan. We need to go back to Melissa as planned.
Sorry, Meg.
She's ready now.
All right, so it's risen beautifully.
Nice.
And I am just going to, so I've sprinkled caster sugar all over my tea towel, like I said before. So I'm just going to upend that on there.
Wow.
Peel off my baking paper. And it's very hot. Oh.
It looks really good.
It's so light, it's ridiculous. Gosh, I hope it's cooked. It's very spongy. Funny about that. Okay, so roll it up with the tea towel and the sugared bits. There we go. And it's now just going to sit and cool down. And given that we've got to fill it by the end of the class, excuse me, I may end up popping in the fridge momentarily. So that's
Melissa,
me. Sorry, I've got
question
children
here.
that are talking that shouldn't be. Sorry.
Sorry, Melissa. Can you use the silicone baking mat instead of the tea towel?
I don't know
wouldn't.
why you would. No, I wouldn't.
I wouldn't because I think it would sweat.
No.
Yep. Okay, so that
I wouldn't
answers the
either.
questions.
Yeah.
No, I would wrap that in a tea towel, which is what they've been doing, making sponges for years, and I will just keep going with that method.
Right. So it's going to cool down in the roll shape already, and that's how it's going to keep the
we are going to unroll it, fill it again, but it's easier to roll back into its shape once it cools down in that shape.
All right. Perfect. Okay, just one technical hint. So if you can't see the person being spotlighted, then you potentially have changed the view in your Zoom setting from gallery. So switch that back to spotlight view, and then you'll always see the active speaker.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, I'm going to whip my cream while I wait, but really I'm done now for 20 minutes or so.
Yeah, okay. And the size of the tin, just coming quickly back, I see a question here, is...
that was a Lamington tin is what it's traditionally known as. So
Lamington size. Okay.
It's called a Lamington tin. I'll measure it up and give you the dimensions.
Awesome, thank you. All right, now,
working from home with kids.
You on spotlight, here we go.
Hello, this is Meg, Thermo Meg over here, and I'm making crinkle cookies. This recipe is from Cookie Exchange, which is one from the United States. Now, the reason I'm making these is last week, one of my kids, it's hard to believe, he's in year 12. It was like 8:30 at night, and he still came home and said, I've got a bake stall tomorrow. Can we have something for the bake stall? And I was like, you're in year 12. He's still doing this to me. So I thought, what can I make that's really quick? So I did a bit of hunting around on cookidoo, as I want to do. And I came up with these chocolate crinkles, or this what I used to know them as chocolate crinkles or crinkle cookies. Now, they're probably not quite as fast as I thought they were, but they're very easy and they taste amazing. And the kids have said, yeah, please make those again. So I'm going to make them for you today. So it's insert butterfly whisk. So we're going to whip some butter. Got the butter ready, and you should have your butter, unsalted butter, slightly softened so that you can go with the butterfly whisk. If you were in a hurry and you haven't got it out already, you can actually you don't actually need the butterfly whisk. I did it the other day when I was in a hurry. I didn't put the butterfly whisk in. I just put this in with the blades and it was fine. So on my screen, you'll see that if you can read that, we're working in ounces. So sometimes this is a bit off-putting and people will come online and say, how can I switch my machine over to, what is that? Not metric, whatever the other thing is. Imperial, very good. And you don't need to. The only thing is you just have to put it out of your head and try and think, oh, how much butter is approximately that? And it weighs it for you anyway. So I have pre-done it, but pop that in. And mine is nice and softened. Oh, it's 2.8. I didn't obviously weigh it very well, but fortunately I have some more. What I was doing there. Oh, now I've got 4.9. Concentrate. Take a bit out. A little bit more. There you go. Okay, 4. And add in some sugar. So more white stuff or whatever you've got. You can use raw sugar is fine. So we hopefully got that right. I did do the old trick before where I had moved the Thermomix and I had the cord underneath. So this could be why. No, 3.8, that'll do. It's got heaps of sugar in, I can tell you. Lid on, we're just gonna whip that up together, 20 seconds. Speed, 3, 5.
That's deep.
Can you still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Well, I was going to tell you that tomorrow is Pancake Tuesday, you know, the month before Easter. So if you're wanting something to cook, don't forget it's Pancake Tuesday. There's so many pancake recipes in the cookidoo or online. Please have a go. The most popular one is really the American pancakes that's on cookidoo or it's in your basic cookbook. And also the pikelets are really good. So even though pikelets are little, they taste amazing and they're really fast to do. Yeah. Right, that is nicely whipped.
And show us, and take a picture of the pancakes and then show us your pancakes on the Facebook group, please.
Scrape down the sides. Now we add some brown sugar, so even more sugar. So this should be 10 ounces of sugar. I've got that on, ready to go.
Yeah, and don't be afraid about weighing in ounces. You just see whenever it has come to that level of where you're supposed to put it. All right, just keep weighing.
Exactly. It's a bit off-putting, but it just does it itself anyway, so it's fine. 2 large eggs. So I've got some eggs here. Some vanilla. I've already poured that out. 1 teaspoon. And we're just going to whip that up together for another 10 seconds on speed 3. There we go. Little jingle. And it says remove the butterfly whisk now. So it's very nice and whipped in there.
Yeah, fluffy. No, it's called.
What do you call that? Fluffy. Fluffy?
Fluffy,
Right.
aerated. There, yeah.
Yes, nice and aerated. Okay. Now add some, it says all-purpose flour. That is plain flour in Australia. So that's 8 ounces, which is, who would know? Half that? Who knows? But it doesn't matter. It does it for you. And 2 ounces of unsweetened cocoa powder. I think this is quite important in the recipe. It is an unsweetened one. I like to use the Dutch, is it unprocessed cocoa powder, like a good quality one. It's because it's nice and rich. So you want to get good flavor in this cookie. Right, 2 ounces of that. And a teaspoon of baking powder. And some salt. Oh, actually, I had already put that in there. It's half a teaspoon of salt and a 1/4 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to whip those together.
Baking soda is bicarb soda, is that right?
Bicarb soda. Yep.
Yeah, sometimes they have different names in different countries, but
Yes.
we just use what we have and what we know. That's usually exactly the same chemical-wise, so no drama.
Right, now it does say to scrape down the sides here, so you just want to make sure that it's fully incorporated. And if you have a look at mine, you'll see that it's not, so you do need to have another go. Just give the sides a scrape with your spatula and then give it a few more seconds. Ten more seconds, speed 4.
Yeah, that's right.
And now, when it's ready,
Now she comes with something I've prepared earlier.
oh, right, just finish up that is all nicely incorporated. It says transfer this to the fridge for 10 minutes. So what is going to happen there is, just because it's all buttery and soft, and you're going to have to form them into these little balls. So you need it to go into the fridge for 10 minutes. So that one will go away, and I've prepared one for you already. Yay. So that's exciting. What I had already done that I wanted to show you is how did I make those. So I've just got a little grubby looking ice cream scoop, because it's got some dough in it ready to go. If you have a little ice cream scoop, not a big one, just like the 2 teaspoon size is about right. And then you can just lob them onto a tray ready to go in the oven. Now you can just put these also go in the fridge for half an hour. So this is where, I thought it was going to be really quick, but you've got to put them into the fridge. But I found that even at this stage, which is not really chilled, you can still form them into the ball and just put them into the fridge. And the good thing about this is you could actually put these into the freezer. So if you didn't want to make them all, you could put them into the freezer like this in a plastic container and cook them another day. Anyway, so that is what they look like. Now the trick is, which I found when I was making them for the fake stall, that you don't want to have too many on the tray because they do spread out. And one of the reasons we're also putting them into the fridge, chilling them, is because if you don't, they will really spread out a lot. So these have been in the fridge, and they're good. And then you have some even more sugar, some icing sugar. So you do want to have the nice, very white icing sugar here, because part of the effect is this look of almost like snow on your chocolate biscuit. So you just take those and roll them quite heavily in the icing sugar, so that it's nice and thick. So let's have a look at that.
Yeah, looks like a snowball.
Like a little snowball. Anyway, so I found that on this size tray, I have just 6 is enough. So it's going to take you about 3 or 4 trays going into the oven, but it's only 10 minutes and you can have 2 layers going in at once, so it doesn't take too long.
Well, look, this is a really handy tip. Otherwise, look, I would have ended up with one massive, big size.
Yep. Well, this is possibly what I did last week, but fortunately I have practiced, and yeah, so just put on a few, to be a little bit patient, and then they'll come out. And what happens is that they split, and you see the white snow and the dark chocolate on the inside. So that's why you get that crinkle effect. So I'll cook those up and you'll get to see them a bit later.
Yay, thank you so much. All right, so I guess it's my turn now, and we will head over straight to my second camera, to the Thermomix Monty, so I can show you and I can walk you through directly on the screen. Yes, that's mine. Here we go. All right, so what we haven't seen today, so you've seen that all the recipes were already up there, and I want to show you quickly how we go through the menu. So this is from our home screen, and the 3 stripes there on the top. This is where I can access my menu plan. So either I have saved the recipes in here, that would be my recipes, or we're going to go into my week. We can go into recently cooked, and we have other things here in the settings. So if I go into my week, this is how I access my weekly meal planner from here. And here you can already see these are the recipes we are making today. And I'll bring up the recipe by clicking on the picture, and it tells me honeycomb. So from here, and I can see it's a TM6 recipe only. So don't try, well, you can try on your TM5, but it's not going to work. So if you try to synchronize a TM6 recipe on your cookie, then you won't have it. All right, so the machine already identifies it as a TM6 recipe only. So from here we can scroll and have an insight into the recipe, same view like you would have in a cookbook, but also what you have on cookidoo. And all we need to do is click here on Start Cooking, and here it tells me that when we're doing the sugar stages, then we have to follow exactly the quantities. And the reason for that is when we're using high heat, there is a sensor inside that you cannot double recipes, and that's for safety reasons, right? You don't want to destroy your machine, and you certainly don't want to get burned with using the high heat. So what we're going to do first is line a square tin, and you can see that. So I have this with a little bit of higher, where's my finger? Over there. Cannot really see. So you have a deep pan. I've got a square one here, and I've already lined that with baking paper. That was a bit unfortunate. Can't really see anything. So here there's just a square tin, 18 by 18 centimeters, and have the sides approximately 5 centimeter higher. You will see why when we put the honeycomb inside. Now, they suggest to sift a tablespoon of bicarb soda, and I definitely suggest that you do the sifting because that's rather important later, that we make sure that all the bubbles come up. and you have a fluffy result. So setting that aside, now we're going to start. So I'm taking off my lid, and that's when a lot of mistakes happen. Just make sure before you start weighing in your ingredients that you always check and press the tare button so you go back to 0 here. So I'm actually using raw sugar, not because it's any healthier than white sugar. The recipe suggests white sugar, but it works perfectly fine with raw. And I actually only have raw sugar in my house because I can turn raw sugar into any sugar that I want. So weighing in 300 grams of the sugar of our choice. Can I just say, I did, because I really needed to know, I did a test and I tried alternative sweeteners. That didn't work. So don't waste your money. It's not going to work with nut beer or what we have. So now it wants us to weigh in 80 grams. And we always talk about the measuring cup, but that's what you can use it for. So instead of making another dish dirty, well, with water it's not really, but you have a handy measuring cup right here. So it goes up to 100 mil or under 100 grams. So you can weigh in the 80 grams right here with the little spout of your measuring cup. Just a quick reminder. Now 20 grams of honey or golden syrup. Because we're talking about good quality chocolate, I wouldn't use the Manuka, oops, here we go, honey for that. So the more expensive stuff, but good quality one. I just use organic one that I find this brand of Aldi's. So I went a little bit over 29 instead of 20. I don't think that's going to make a huge difference. And now this is a change. We put the lid on top, but it says without the measuring cup. So all we need to do is pop the lid on top, click on next. And now you can see, so the timer is set to 22 minutes. I have tested it, so I want to go with 19 minutes only, also a little bit of the time. You can see the setting is automatically to maximum. I cannot change that, all right? But instead of going from speed 1 to 10, it shows me the sugar work. So what it does, so if I just need to turn that, the arms have locked in there. And now it basically just starts turning and cooking for the next 19 minutes. So nothing really to see here, but we are going back to Melissa. No, Melissa is Melissa ready? No, she's not. Okay, then we are heading over to Sandy's kitchen.
Hello everyone, welcome to my kitchen in Sandringham. So today I have decided to put together a cocktail for you all. So sorry for all of you that are actually doing FemFast because I am not. But this is what we call the Pomegranate Mojito, and it is one of my favourite drinks. It's really become a favourite amongst all my friends in summer. So this has become a great little drink to have. Now I'm just going to ask someone, because I wasn't quite ready. Lachlan, can you just get me the ice that's in a little thermo server in the top, please? Thank you. So what we are going to do, there are actually two versions of this one. I've chosen the US version, which, as everyone has mentioned, it does do it in ounces as well. I'm not too worried. It's going to automatically adjust and give me the scales that I need, so I don't need to worry about trying to guess the estimates of the scales and things like that. So I'm going to go to my week, and we're going to bring up the recipe, the pomegranate mojito, and we're going to say start cooking. Okay, so what it's asking me for now is 2 ounces of sugar. Oh, sorry, 0.2 ounces, sorry, of sugar. So I'm going to put this in now. We're just going to tear that off, and I've already pre-weighed that. And it's going to mill the sugar down. So I'm going to go next, and it's going to just do it for 10 seconds, and I'm just turning it to speed 10. So this will be quite loud. Hopefully it will. You can see it all turning to icing sugar up the top. It's not burning, don't stress. So we'll go next. And now it's asking us to put in all the ice cubes. I'm just going to get all that off. So you can see some of the magic of the Thermomix is that it's turned all that sugar into icing sugar. So it is absolutely awesome, your Thermomix. Okay, so it wants us to put in the ice cubes. So I've already pre-weighed some of this as well. It's asking for 10 to 14 ounces of ice cubes. So I think I put in about 12 in here. Everything is stuck together. Not sure if you've all noticed, this is the little baby thermo server. So this is one of the host gifts that that you can get by just hosting your own party or cooking experience. It's great for this sort of thing. Okay, so this wants us to put the lid back on. So we're going to put that in, go next, and it's set for 15 seconds automatically, and it's asking us to put it onto speed 5.
I think you've muted yourself.
Sorry, Sandy, I don't know how to unmute you.
Yeah. So that's now turned into like a slushy. So that's crushed all that ice, and that was quite a lot of ice in there.
You made snow, actually.
Sorry, Jenny?
You made snow.
I made snow. It goes well with the balls, the crinkles. Okay, so it's now asking, so we'll just tear that off, and it's asking for 5 ounces of lime juice. So you can use fresh limes, or you can use lime juice, up to you, whatever you have in the fridge. So I already have that in. So I'm just going to put all of that in. And it's asking for 8 sprigs of fresh mint leaves. So it's saying approximately 30 leaves. So I've just pulled apart all my mint and have it all in there. The mint puts in an amazing flavour. So don't be scared to put in a little bit extra if you feel like it. And you can put your lid back on, and it's going to do it for now for 2 seconds on speed 4. Okay. Now it's asking for the white rum. So you can use white rum. I've played around and I've put in vodka, I've put in the white rum. You can use actually whatever you like. Any of those white clear alcohols is fine. So,
whatever needs to go.
Correct. I'm not fussed, as long as it's liquid, then we're all good. So 4 ounces of white rum. So I am using the rum today. I haven't pre-weighed this, so we'll see how we go. Here we go.
That's great. So we can see them weighing in the ounces, and it really doesn't matter.
No, exactly. So I know a lot of people do get scared when they go, oh, it's ounces. How much? How much do I actually need? It's just like, just follow the scales. You don't need to even think about it. So it's asking for the pomegranate liqueur. So the only place I have found this is at Dan Murphy's, and it's amazing. And you don't need a huge amount. You can see that's quite a full bottle, and I've made this many a time. So yeah, you don't use a huge amount, but it is really, really good. So try Dan's when you can. Good old Dan's got everything. So again, 4 ounces of this one. Bit extra, 4.2, that's all good. And we go next, and it's 6 ounces of pomegranate juice. So I've just got an organic pomegranate juice. I just get this from the supermarket. So, and it's been for ages. I have to try and keep the kids away from this one so I can keep it for my drinks, but it's really, really good. So 6 ounces. So just get it from the supermarket. And you'll be all good with that one. And then we're going to put the lid on. Let's go. All right, so this is now going to mix this for 20 seconds, just on speed 1. So has anyone actually tried this cocktail before? Let us know in the chat box. Or what's your favourite cocktail that you've been making? Who's doing steadfast and who's not?
There's a couple of cocktail collections actually available on cookidoo. So the best way to explore all of that is typing the word cocktail into the search bar and see what's going to happen.
Correct. All right, so our cocktail is now made. You can't really see that, and I don't want to pour it too high, otherwise it will go all over the camera. But I will pour some of this. So this makes about 4 cocktails, depending on how much you like to drink. And then, so you can pour this into 4. You can top it up with a bit of tonic water. Depends on how you like it with your sweetness. So I find this quite sweet. And you'll remember, because there is the sugar, you've got the pomegranate liqueur and everything in there. So I just top it up with a little bit of tonic water, or you could even do soda water. But that's it. How easy is that cocktail? That's great. Let me have a try.
We should have swapped recipes.
Oh, it's really good, actually. This will go down well for this afternoon.
So Dee said she's made the passion fruit mojito. So I think there's a little bit of mojito thing going on here. Nothing's wrong with a really good mojito. All right, thanks so much for sharing. I mean, you're not sharing, which is...
I'm not sharing, no.
Absolutely unfair, but yeah, there will be a time, hopefully in 2 days, 2.5 days from now, and we'll be back.
I'll make you one then, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you.
No worries.
Okay, so now can I quickly check in with Elizabeth and Melissa, who wanted to, Elizabeth, you wanted to have a 2 minutes or so? No, not ready? Okay, Melissa, how's it going over there? That's a thumbs up. Here we go. All right.
Okay, I stuck it in the fridge. I cleaned up all my broken dishes. I've got a sore arm, but I survived. Now, just be careful with this, because I've moved it a couple of times and I've managed to sprinkle sugar everywhere. So and now I'm going to get it on my bench. Hang on, let me turn around this way. So it's still nice, and I've got a feeling it might have liked a little bit more time in the oven, but never mind. It'll be, now it's cracking a little bit, but I'm not overly concerned by that. Okay, I've got some homemade berry jam that I made last week. It is cooked. If you haven't made your homemade jam, hop on to that. Please speak to your consultant if you're a bit frightened, because it's so much nicer than store-bought jam. Okay, well, that's a first-time disaster for me. It's just broken in half. So I'm going to have to hold it together. I'm just going to spread the jam on here and then the cream over top, and then I'm going to roll it up. But I'm thinking that where it's cracked, it might be on the bottom, so it'll be okay. And
I'm so glad that
my kids aren't going to care.
If it happened to you, then that's all good. So that gives me confidence in trying it too.
Yes. You know what? And if it cracks, it cracks. Who cares? Can't do anything about it. And you don't cry over cracked rolls, really. So what I have done, and don't put too much in the filling either, by the way. So I've left a gap of about that much at the top of that you can see there. I'm probably going to end up with jam and cream everywhere. All right, I've already whipped my cream because I did that before while we were having some downtime. So I'll pop that in and spread that across. And then I've just got, I have noticed actually while Sandy was talking just then, and also Meg, there is a theme going on today, apart from, and it's sugar and snow, but it's international recipes.
True, yes, that's right.
So don't be tempted to put too much in here, because don't forget you are going to roll it up. But I'll just use what I've got, and I'll decorate this.
Melissa, there is a
Yes,
question.
Mox.
How much cream, more or less, or how much cream have you made?
Cream have I whipped up? I think I would have done, I don't know, probably a 300 ml carton.
And you're not use it at all?
No, well, there's hardly anything left in here, and I've got the rest of it in here ready to pipe some things on the top. Okay, let me make myself a bit of room. I've got some strawberries ready to go on the top. So really, all I'm going to do now is roll it back up because it was kind of in its shape. I'm very worried about that little bottom part there. Oh, shit. I mean, goodness.
Did you just say that? Beep.
There we go. I'm using the, oh, dear. Oh, no. This is the first time this has happened to me, but never mind.
We can top that up with some cream.
We can. I'm just going to try and lift it off here onto the cooling rack without it sort of destroying itself, and I'll just have to disguise that. There's many thoughts that are coming to mind right now, but I will keep them to myself. But
inside voice.
From this end, it looks beautiful. From here, not so much, but we'll try and disguise that with a little bit of icing sugar, which seems to be the flavour of the day. So I'm going to clean up and decorate this, and Elizabeth can go back to her chutney.
Yep. All right. I hope, Elizabeth, is that what you wanted? Was there a step that you wanted to show us to come back?
Well, in actual fact, I've just gone ahead and done it because I was watching the clock going tick, 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 tick.
Yeah, all right.
The only thing left to do, once the major cooking is done, then there's a few seconds to stir it, which breaks it up and makes it into a nice consistency. And the other thing you add in is a Belgian wine. So I've gone ahead and done that. But what I would like to show you is decanting into your jar that you're going to seal, so we can see it. Cool. So I don't know if you can see that.
Just be careful.
We're close, but it's quite right. When it cools down, it actually thickens up quite considerably. But this little guy here is out of our mix shop, and it's one of my absolute faves. I use it for so many different purposes, and this would be perfect. So, and the other thing is that a recent thing I learned about the ergonomics of our handle. When you're pouring something, hold it by the bottom of the handle. So in it goes into the jar. And while I'm putting it in this little jar, you do realise, of course, you can sterilise your jars in your Varoma. So what I quite often do is use jars, go into the dishwasher, and then afterwards I sterilise them in my Varoma. So that was the little bit that I wanted to show you. If you like, Janny, I've got it all set up. I can do my final bit now.
Yes, absolutely. Go for it.
Okie dokie. We'll just pop this over here out of sight. And
just maybe quickly coming back to that question about how much cream. So because Melissa just showed us a recipe or a variation that she made, but in the original recipe, which is with lemon, by the way, there would be all the steps would be in the recipe on how much cream and how long to whip it, and everything will be set up in the guided recipe there for you. So don't get scared of doing it differently. All right, Elizabeth, you do realise you are not allowed to have any guests over today. This looks delicious.
Well, what's happening here is I think I've got dinner sorted. So there's 2 chicken barrelans. Now, there are lots of spice mixes you can make in your Thermomix. One of them is a tar, but this happens to be a lemon pepper one. And I keep them made and I keep them in sealed jars to bring out willy-nilly as desired. So there's my chutney and there's my dinner for tonight. And while you girls were busy making sweet things, I did a coleslaw. And on top of that, I pimped it by adding some, it's in the basic cookbook, I think. I pimped it by putting on some of the hummus that I've made and a beetroot hummus. Nice. And one last little thing, not one last little one, second last little thing. This is the Persian love cake that I made yesterday to share with no one. But it is my son's birthday today, so I took a picture of it and said, here's your birthday cake. So for all you gorgeous people out there, you see I have my mojito ready.
Oh, good girl.
I think I'm pretty sorted for tonight. Feet up on the couch.
You are. You look like you're having a party over there. And I love the fact that you are joining Sandy so she doesn't need to drink alone. That's perfect.
Good on you. Thank you all.
All right, sorry, I have turned out the timer a little bit on mine. I have about 30 seconds or so to go. And I'm going to show you now what we're going to do with the honeycomb. All right, so one tip I have, and you'll see that in the recipe, and there are different honeycomb recipes available on the international platforms, or very slightly, just a tiny bit. But the Australian one is what I like, because what they do in the recipe is start the pre-clean basically straight after. So whenever you do sugar work, here we go, whenever you do sugar work, you need to do the pre-clean straight away so the plates don't get stuck inside the bowl. All right, so now we're heading over to my camera 2, please. And so yeah, here we go. So I hope that's okay so you can see inside. So you see it's all nicely bubbled up. And what we're going to do next is, and that's going to be a little bit manual work. So that's this sifted bicarb soda. So now have a look what's going to happen. So I'm going to sprinkle that around the blade, so not on top of it, and use your spatula just to slowly incorporate that. And you will see the change in color, and again it aerates, so it bubbles up. So that's about it, what I'm going to do. And now it starts coming up, so I'm going to pour that into my tray now rather quickly. Ooh, can you see that? Honeycomb happening right there, and it already starts cooling down and it's thickening up and it's getting hard, so you have to be really, really quick here, going around with your spatula. Always remember, go clockwise so you're not touching the sharp side of the blades with your spatula. So, and now you can already see it, so it's already thickening up. It's really, really light and fluffy. And that's when now the self-cleaning in the recipe comes quite in handy. But it's going to be all very sticky. So I recommend have hot water ready. Is that still? Yes, you can still see that. So that's basically what I just did. Now we're putting in 1 liter of water. And you can see it's still all very hot. So you can see the steam coming up. And I've used hot water. And in the next step, it's going to ask for 50 grams of vinegar. So the machine will actually detect how hot or cold the water is. It will heat it up if needed to get you a better cleaning result. So now we're popping the lid back on. And you can see already it's very sticky. Measuring cup inside. And now I'm just turning the dial. Just press it a little bit further. You can see that's all sticky now. So later I will use the hot water to pour that over. Okay, so again, this is hot. But now you see why the deep sided tin is so important. So this way your honeycomb can grow up to on the sides. So we need to put that aside, and that needs to cool down for about 20 minutes or so. Oops. No, put that aside. And here I want to show you the end result of the honeycomb, something I prepared earlier. And so you can see these air pockets in there, all right? Very important is with the honeycomb, so you can go back to my main screen, please. Yay, there you go. So very important with the honeycomb is that you store that in an airtight container. Oh, you can still hear me. I'm better closer with the microphone. Store it in an airtight container straight away. So once it has cooled down, because what will happen, the sugar will pull on all the moisture, and then you end up with the sticky stuff that you cannot really eat. But you can break it apart, and it's nice to, so I've heard, sprinkle it over ice cream or any other dessert. So the family goes crazy about it. So now that I've tried and tested it, they want to have it every day. So that's okay. Anyway, so it should be a sometimes treat, and it should be all right. So now that pre-clean has finished, I quickly show you how it looks like, because what I've discovered is, I don't know if you can see that on the other camera. Here we go. So that it didn't come all the way to the top, but you can see that's really so much better than before, okay? And if you are not happy with that, you can also use the pre-clean mold from the molds that we have here built in. That's what I'm going to do. And I just swipe to the side, and you do have different pre-clean molds there available. And when you start turning them around, it will suggest what you want to do. And we have dough, we have, no, hang on, I need to stop. We have dough, we have universal, we have fat or caramel, and that's the one that I'm using today. Okay, so I hope that was helpful. Yes, so the cleaning mode, you will find them on mold. So when you're on the main screen, you have to swipe to the left to get access to your molds there. And that's where you're going to find the pre-clean. All right, so we have seen Sandy, we have seen Melissa, no, we have seen Elizabeth. We want to see the snowballs from Megan, please.
Okay, here they are. There you go. Look at these little crinkled cookies. Yeah, so they look impressive. The boys and girls at school apparently did want to buy them at the bake stall. Something else I wanted to tell you is that they're actually quite good if you wanted to make an ice cream cookie. You know, those ones you can buy, the kids like. So just put some vanilla ice cream in between, and they're quite a good cookie for that. The other thing is on cookidoo, there's a lemon version of crinkles. So that sounds really delicious. It's actually in the Canadian and the in metric, and the US in imperial. And there's a Portuguese chocolate one as well. So that's chocolate crinkles or crinkle cookies for you, and we have some biscuits to eat.
Very nice. Thanks so much. They look really impressive, I must say, and I love the idea with the ice cream in between.
Yum.
Yeah.
Right. So one person left, and that's Melissa. They're coming back full circle. Look at that.
I kind of rescued it a little bit. I kind of held it together, but yeah. It looks like it's had surgery, really, so it's quite appropriate, really, all things considered. But it'll be fine. It'll taste beautiful. I think I probably took it out of the oven maybe 2 or 3 minutes too soon, and probably didn't let it cool down enough. But I promise you, people, this is the first time that this has happened to me, and I've made this roll recipe maybe 8 times. So, but never like this, never in front of not necessarily in front of the camera, but just with time constraints. So it really does need to be cooked properly and cooled properly, but it's not too bad.
Okay. Well, wonderful. I cannot thank everyone just enough for coming and joining us on this Monday afternoon. Now, we have, I think we've gave you a couple of inspiration on what's for dessert tonight. Definitely give all of them a go, and we will share the links to the recipes on the Bayside Thermomix community. If you're not part of that yet, it's a Facebook group. Please find it by Bayside Thermomix community, and we'll add you to the group. And we do have more Zoom classes coming up this week. And I will also share them on the Bayside Thermomix community group with you. If you are not part of that and you're not doing Facebook, then just reach out to your consultant who has invited you here today. They're happy to share our upcoming classes with you. So thanks again so much for joining us. And well, we're halfway through. Let's hope. And I hope I see you next time. Bye for now. Thanks, team. You were amazing, as always.
Bye.
Bye. Well done, everyone.